With the East Palestine stuff, with seeing Joe Biden go to Ukraine, I'm like, I'm voting for Trump. Like Ron DeSantis has the tact. He's got good policy. He's done great for Florida. But just like this was such an unnerving move that Joe Biden did with this Ukraine trip. It was like getting punched in the balls as hard as possible. And we need a bloviating braggart like Trump who really will go down to East Palestine if that's what it takes. Like I like Ron DeSantis, but he does, I don't know, man, I can't explain it. It's like Ron DeSantis has done a really good job. He's given us a lot of what we want. We've seen a lot of tremendous success, but he's a VP. He's a commander. He's a lieutenant. He's a number one. Donald Trump is the crazy guy who's like, get me a plane. I'm flying to East Palestine right now. And Joe Biden's the guy who says, whatever my boss tells me to do, I'll go do, and then gives away our money. And then Ron DeSantis is the guy who's like, yeah, we're going to do it right. We're going to fix it. We're going to get what people want. But that's a COO, not a CEO. Trump's a CEO. DeSantis is a COO. For those that understand corporate structure, you get exactly what I mean. The COO handles the directives of the CEO. The CEO, which is Trump, says, we've got to do this, make it happen.
It seems like
Then you get a DeSantis who understands and he executes.
It seems like a lesser of two evils argument. I don't really know how he's going to be able to separate himself from the lockdowns. I mean, but again, lesser of two evils is something that some people go by. I've never been able to fall into that.
It's true. And a lot of people have, everybody says, they're all saying, how does Trump get past? He was a lockdown guy. Initially, he was the president. He wouldn't intervene in the states' decisions to keep states locked down. DeSantis did lock down initially as well. So I would rebut with that, I guess. Trump said we're going to shut down 15 days to slow the spread. DeSantis agreed. Then DeSantis reversed. Trump, as the president, didn't have the power to force states to do anything. Mm-hmm. Arguably, he could invoke some, emergency powers. When it came to the Summer of Love, he could have, invoked the Insurrection Act and shut down these riots. And if he did, could have prevented 30 plus deaths, which he should have done. But I'm just saying, man, based on his foreign policy, I am worried, as Trump points out. DeSantis does have these warmongers, these internationalists, these investment neocon establishment shills getting behind him. I'm not going to blame DeSantis for that. It's what he does with the money. But I gotta say, like with the East Palestine situation, I'm not convinced that Ron DeSantis would be a Trump in this regard. Trump is the guy who flies there and says, I'm going to visit these people. Biden's the guy who says, don't know, don't care, let them rot for all I care.
It's surprising that every presidential candidate isn't going there because it's like a requirement. You have to go there.
Not Nikki Haley either.
Right.
Trump was the one who announced he was going. I don't know if he did yet, but still, I'm like, I'll take it. If that's what we get. My view of Trump is that there's probably a lot better people who could be president. But I really do feel like you're more likely to get a politician. You vote for Trump and you know what you're getting. And I think he really does like this country. I also think he's got an ego problem.
Do you know what you're getting, though? Because, we heard a lot of love for WikiLeaks in the run up to, his presidency, but then, nothing after he got elected. So he loves WikiLeaks when they're helping him. But
exactly. You know Trump is going to bloviate. He's going to say things that he think will work for his base, and there's no guarantee that happens. But you do know he wants to build a wall. He's going to Ann Coulter was complaining that he didn't build the wall, and I'm like, the dude was trying. Like, I really do think Trump was trying. I can respect she's mad that we didn't get the wall, and she said, only hundreds of miles of fencing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, he got triple layer bollard fencing in key areas. It's like, man, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, it is lesser of two evils argument.
Yeah, I don't even know if I feel like feel it that way. Like, Trump is different from the lesser of two evils. Mitt Romney and Obama was the lesser of two evils. Trump is something outside the picture who's probably going to do a bunch of dumb stuff, but his ego won't let him let Americans down. Like, here's what I think. Trump's ego is massive, probably the biggest on the planet. And you can say it's a problem. He's also very arrogant. But this means he's also desperate for the love and admiration of the American people. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that right there matters. Biden doesn't give a crap at all. He knows people hate him, but the media is going to cover for him anyway, so he can abandon the American people to go fly to Ukraine. Trump, on the other hand, desperately wants people to love him. So much so he puts his name everywhere to make sure people know who he is. He's got daddy issues. But you can count on that for him to do what he can to make you say, I like you, Trump. And that's, hey, if it's narcissism at the root, but he's desperately trying to convince you that he's awesome, I'll take it. Because Biden certainly ain't doing it. He's leaving you to die.
I believed that about Trump until he became president day 2 and went on script and started reading off a prompter. When he was like off book for the whole run up to the election during the process. And it was like, even got exciting. I didn't even want him to be president, but it was like at least someone's being honest. And then I see his eyeballs tracking the prompter as he's talking, and he's talking like this. And that is not how Donald Trump talks. I'm like, oh my God!
Well, he has to come. He has to come here. That's the only way that you can really press him. So
maybe
he should.
Maybe I'll fly out for the Friday morning show and interview Trump.
That'd be cool.
That's
no,
a thing.
He should come here.
Well, I mean, it's just not. This is the other challenge.
But he should be willing to, because he should want to reach these people.
Yeah, but maybe if I had the ego and arrogance of Trump, and don't get me wrong, like I got ego and arrogance for sure, but not enough to be like Donald Trump should be in my studio. You know what I mean? Like,
it's logistical
but to
too,
feel the
right?
culture, like he should want to connect. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not worth his time. It's like, I don't know.
Donald Trump would be should be honored at the thought of me letting him come here and sit in this studio.
I think he needs to show up.
A 2-hour
Everybody agrees.
conversation for 1 million people would be well worth his time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I think that Trump didn't get everything he said he would done, and that is disappointing to some people. Like, I personally feel like maybe it would have been nice to get some more progress on border security and the wall. I think he did do some things. I can be disappointed that it wasn't as much as I'd like. But I think the economy was strong under him. I think that there were a lot of positives to the Trump presidency, and COVID was a very unusual way to go out that unfortunately, has put him in a weird position going into 2024. I think that the hardest thing about the Trump presidency was that he was so good at captivating his audience when he was campaigning, and then when he got into the White House, it's hard for me not to think that he switched out who was around him and that he was often misled by bad advice. And I would be afraid going into 24, if he was elected again, that he would again give seats to advisors who maybe don't have his best interests or the best interests of his base at heart. And that is nerve-wracking as a voter to say, like, do we try again? It's not that we shouldn't. I mean, especially given that he is willing to go to East Palestine when at least 2 Biden officials were at least planning, like Biden did leave the country, the head of the EPA was going to, and then was like, oh, just kidding, I'll stay here and deal with Ohio. I mean, the Biden administration's legacy in the past 3 years, or however long he's been in, is not good. And I think one bad year of Trump versus everything he accomplished, it's kind of clear who would be a stronger candidate.
I'm hearing that Trump's going to be there tomorrow. I don't know. Has anyone
That's
heard?
what I heard too, but he hasn't officially released a date. It's like the EPA just rushed in to beat him there.
Alad, if you're listening, you want to go to Ohio and check this out. Mm-hmm. So we'll get Alad Eliyahu, see if he's interested in going down there, and that'd be really, really cool. I like DeSantis. I think he's doing really well on culture war issues, but this is the kind of stuff that I'll say it again. Trump is a CEO. He's the visionary. He's got the plan, but he's kind of, the COO is the guy in the suit who executes the vision of the CEO and knows how to navigate that system to get the job done. So
yeah, a good CEO can do that without a COO. If you have a large company, you're going to need someone to organize, but a good CEO can do all the positions of the company.
Right. And I think Donald Trump is a good CEO, but I don't think Ron DeSantis is. I think Ron DeSantis is a COO. I'm not speaking ill of Trump's abilities. I'm saying I think DeSantis has proven very, very well that he's a good leader, but it feels to me like with a story like this, I don't know. Trump feels like the guy after all this.
There could